Sit back and enjoy an hour of fascinating facts you didn't know. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's get started. The Basel Zoo in Switzerland performs winter walks with king penguins, provided that the climatic conditions are suitable. These walks occur when the temperature drops below 10 degrees Celsius and there is no intense rain. King penguins have dense plumage that allows them to tolerate higher temperatures, although they prefer cold environments. This activity is part of the zoo's educational program. The walks allow visitors to observe the natural behavior of the animals. The largest waves in the world are recorded in Nazaré, Portugal. Some have reached up to 26 meters in height. The Suburgo viewpoint is a popular spot to observe this phenomenon. The waves are formed by the Nazaré underwater canyon, which channels the energy of the Atlantic. This canyon is up to 5,000 meters deep. The combination of oceanic storms, intense winds, and tide enhances their size. The result is giant waves that attract extreme surfers from all over the world. In Uruguay, you can find towers of nests built by ovenbirds, birds known as mason birds. These nests are made in pairs with mud, straw, roots, and branches, and when they dry, they become very hard. Ovenbirds are native to South America and live from Argentina to Bolivia and Uruguay. After their use, the nests are usually abandoned and sometimes occupied by other species. The click beetle, known as a bioluminescent beetle of the genus Pyrophorus, lives mainly in tropical regions of the continent. Its light is continuous and comes from organs located in the head and abdomen. Unlike fireflies, it does not emit flashes but a constant glow. Bioluminescence serves defensive and communication functions. In the United States, strong winter storms have covered houses with snow, especially in regions like New York, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. In some events, accumulations have exceeded 60 centimeters. It is common for doors and windows to be blocked after these snowfalls. Authorities usually issue alerts for extreme conditions. The Cenote Angelita, located on the Yucatan Peninsula, Mexico, presents an unusual natural formation. At about 27 meters deep, there is a dense layer of hydrogen sulfate mixed with salt water. This mixture is heavier than the upper freshwater, which creates a visible separation. The phenomenon creates the illusion of an underground river inside the cenote. Experienced divers have documented this effect in dives that reach up to 40 meters. The African weaver sparrow builds large communal nests in arid regions of southern Africa. These structures can house between 100 and 300 pairs, each with its own chamber. The nests are installed in trees or posts and resemble shared apartments. Weaver birds are native to sub-Saharan Africa, tropical Asia, and Australia. Their nests vary in shape and size depending on the species and the available material. They are known for their architectural ability and social cooperation. Horses always sleep standing up. They're animals that are always alert, even during their sleep. By being on their feet, their sleep is lighter, and staying standing during this period allows them to be alert and run quickly if any danger arises. They can even confuse their predators into thinking that they're awake. This is the Matryoshka diamond. It is a diamond inside another that was found in the year 2019 by a mining company in Russia. It is so rare that only one of these has been found in all of history, and scientists cannot explain how it was possible for it to form in this way. It is believed that it was more than 80 million years underground. With the size of just a grain of rice, this diamond has an incalculable value. However, its owners assure that it will never be put up for sale. Motorball, also known as motorcycle soccer, originated in France in the 1930s. The sport is practiced mainly in Russia, France, Germany, Belarus, and the Netherlands. Each team has 5 players, 4 on a motorcycle and a goalkeeper on foot. The motorcycles used are of low displacement, generally up to 250 cubic centimeters. The goalkeeper is protected by an area where the motorcycles cannot enter. The wave sculpture is located at the Meadows Museum in Dallas, Texas, United States. It was created by the Spanish architect and engineer Santiago Calatrava. It is his first large-scale sculptural work permanently installed in the country. The piece measures approximately 40 by 90 feet and is composed of 129 bronze bars. These move sequentially, generating a wavy effect that recalls the movement of waves. In China, there is an extensive cemetery of smart bicycles. This began a few years ago with the arrival of the use of shared bicycles in the Asian country. Dozens of companies took advantage to offer networks of unlockable bicycles through applications, a business similar to that of some European countries. However, these companies brought too many bicycles to the country, and the demand was not even 10% of the 1.5 million bicycles available. Little by little they accumulated due to a lack of customers being deposited in these squares. This is the sad result. Approximately 100 years ago, pit bulls enjoyed a good reputation and were often called nanny dogs. This denomination was due to their friendly nature and their ability to take care of children. They were considered loyal, protective, and affectionate dogs, especially in a family environment. Their history dates back to the early 20th century in the United States, when they were seen as ideal companions for children and with very reliable behavior. These two ants pull a cockroach by the antennas. They can carry 10 to 50 times their body weight. Bobby, an Alentejo Mastiff, was known as the oldest dog in the world. He passed away in Portugal in October of 2023 at the incredible age of 31 years and 165 days. This figure is more than double the typical life expectancy of his breed, which usually ranges between 12 and 14 years. However, his Guinness record title was withdrawn due to the lack of conclusive evidence to confirm his age. Uncorking a bottle with fire is a real but risky method. Heat is applied just below the cork so that the air expands and pushes it out. Although the glass and the cork have different coefficients of expansion, the effect is due more to the internal pressure than to the material. This trick has become popular on social networks. However, if it is heated abruptly or unevenly, the bottle can explode. Sofia Gomez Uribe is a Colombian freediver recognized for her achievements in free diving, a discipline that consists of diving without respiratory assistance. The modality focuses mainly on reaching depth, although there are also distance tests. In this discipline, athletes must control their breathing and heart rate. Sofia has broken several records in different categories. Milena Sidorova is a dancer and choreographer born in Ukraine and based in the Netherlands. She is known for her piece called The Spider, created when she was 13 years old. The choreography imitates the movements of a spider with great physical precision. Meet the peacock spider. These small arachnids the size of a finger have several striking characteristics. They have adorable faces with many eyes, they have complex courtship forms, and they are very skilled at jumping like ninjas. They live in Australia, and the males have very colorful hind limbs. They display a wide variety of blues, purples, golds, and reds. In 2009, an anonymous programmer under the pseudonym of Satoshi Nakamoto launched Bitcoin, the first cryptocurrency. Unlike traditional currencies, Bitcoin operates on a decentralized system without the need for banks or governments. Its value has experienced huge fluctuations, but it has triggered a revolution in the way we understand and use money, inspiring the creation of thousands of cryptocurrencies. He is Alexander Doba, a Polish adventurer who was the first person to cross the Atlantic by rowing from Europe to New York, completely alone and without assistance. In 2017, at the age of 70, he rowed 5,000 miles from the port of France until he reached the coasts of New York, facing storms, strong currents, and the loneliness of the ocean for 110 days. His feat demonstrated an amazing level of physical and mental endurance, inspiring generations of adventurers. In Tenerife, Spain, a strong storm caused waves of up to 6 meters that hit coastal buildings. In areas like Mesa del Mar, the waves swept away balconies and furniture, causing evacuations. The Canary Islands are located west of Morocco in the Atlantic. The waves are formed by the wind that grazes the surface of the sea. As they approach the coast, the lower depth pushes them upwards. This increases their height and force until they break. A school of striped eel catfish moves along the seabeds of the Indian Ocean and the Western Pacific. The young fish of the species move in dense shoals, which often appear to roll on the substrate. This peculiar behavior allows the fish that are on the edge of the shoal to feed while the rest take turns to advance. This cooperative system ensures that the entire group finds food as it moves. The American artist Michael Murphy created a sculpture in homage to Stephanie Tubbs Jones, located in Cleveland, Ohio. The work uses suspended shapes that visually align to form her portrait from a specific point. Stephanie Tubbs Jones was the first African-American woman elected to Congress by the state of Ohio. She represented the 11th district until her death in the year 2008. In the Scottish Highlands, in Loch Ness, it is believed that there is a monster affectionately known as Nessie. This mythological creature has captivated the public's imagination for decades and has generated a constant interest in the possibility of its existence. The F-18 Hornet is an American-made multi-role fighter used by the Finnish Air Force since the 1990s. Finland conducts military exercises in which these planes take off and land on sections of civilian roads as part of its dispersion strategy. This practice seeks to maintain air operability in case conventional bases are rendered unusable during a conflict. Meet the real scrat squirrel. But I'm not referring to the one from the movie, but to a 30,000-year-old mummified Arctic ground squirrel from the Ice Age that was found by mining workers near Dawson City in Canada in April of the year 2023. At first glance, it looks like a ball of fur, but if you pay a little more attention, it reveals its tiny ears, its paws and claws in an exceptional state of preservation. It is thought that it died while hibernating due to its curled-up shape. The first McDonald's in Moscow opened on January 31st, 1990 in Pushkin Square. Thousands of people formed long lines to enter, which symbolized the interest in the Western lifestyle. This event occurred during the economic opening of the Soviet Union. The official dissolution of the country happened in December of 1991. From that process, 15 independent nations emerged. The line in front of the restaurant was seen as a reflection of social change. The tiny arms of the Tyrannosaurus rex were not as weak as you thought. These tiny arms were actually extremely strong. Each of them measured almost 1 meter and was full of huge muscles. It is believed that they could exert forces greater than 200 kilograms, and that with their claws they could damage and tear the flesh of their prey or adversaries after taking them with their huge jaw. Deception Island is located in the South Shetland archipelago in Antarctica. It is the partially submerged caldera of an active volcano with records of recent eruptions. Its interior bay, called Foster Harbor, has geothermally warm waters. Some tourists bathe there, taking advantage of the volcanic heat. The island is claimed by Argentina, Chile, and the United Kingdom, although it is under the regime of the Antarctic Treaty. In The Walking Dead, the actors must attend a kind of zombie academy in which they are taught to walk and move like an undead. The basic premise they're given is that they must act as if they've just left a bar at 4 in the morning. During the 16th century in Italy, high society began to use forks. However, a short time later the church condemned them as tools of the devil and prohibited them. It was not until about 300 years later that their use became common. This implies that before that time, people ate spaghetti with their hands. This is what transparent public restrooms in Japan are like. The stalls are made with a smart glass that changes opacity to provide privacy when needed. When they are occupied and properly closed, the tinted glass panels turn to an opaque and matte tone. When the door is opened, an electric current realigns the crystals to allow light to pass through, creating a transparent effect. This technology is also already being applied in offices and other buildings. This innovative backpack will take a load off your shoulders. It has a patented suspension system that reduces the force of impact on the user by 86%. Cats use a precise method of walking called direct registration. This peculiar way of walking of these small felines consists of placing each hind paw directly in the footprint of the corresponding front paw. This method allows cats to move silently and efficiently while minimizing their impact on the environment, in addition to ensuring a more stable walking base for them. On the coast of Portugal, there are cliffs used for extreme jumps, such as those of Sagres, Nazar, or Lagos. Jumps of 24 meters have been made in events, such as the Red Bull Cliff Diving. Portugal has hosted several editions of this international competition. Athletes train in controlled conditions to minimize risks. The Tungara frog, known scientifically as Angistomops pustulosus, is native to America and is found from Mexico to Venezuela and Trinidad. The males emit courtship sounds to attract the females during the night. These vocalizations can also attract predators. The probability of being struck by lightning and surviving to tell the tale is 1 in 3 million. But statistics were not a good ally for Roy Sullivan, who was struck by lightning on 7 occasions without suffering serious injuries. This succession of misfortunes earned him the nickname of the human lightning rod. Some species of ducks can dive for more than a minute and reach depths of up to 10 meters. This is possible because they have feathers that are completely waterproof, which allows them to sink and dive easily. This three-dimensional chess appears in the Star Trek series as a futuristic version of the classic game. The board is composed of main platforms and mobile boards distributed at different levels. The pieces retain their traditional movements, but can move vertically if the destination is aligned and free. The rules were developed by fans after its appearance on television. Although it seems complex, its logic is accessible with practice. Meet the blue scorpion, a unique species of arachnid that lives in Cuba and is characterized by its vibrant blue color. This scorpion has aroused interest due to its potential medicinal properties. Its venom is being studied by scientists from the Tecnológico de Monterrey and the company Leaf Escozal, since one of the qualities of the venom of this animal is its richness in a mixture of proteins and peptides that have been attributed to beneficial characteristics, such as the elimination of cancerous cells. The Japanese artist Tatsuya Tanaka is known for his miniature calendar project, in which he creates miniature scenes inspired by everyday life. Some of his compositions evoke traditional Japanese spaces, such as ryokan. Tanaka uses common objects to represent these environments on a reduced scale. Each scene is carefully constructed to provoke surprise and recognition. Have you ever wondered what language deaf people think in? Deaf people think in the language they have learned, which can be a sign language such as American Sign Language or Spanish Sign Language, or in a spoken language if they have received auditory education. Many deaf people visualize concepts in images or in signs, which shows that thought is versatile and does not depend solely on a language, but on the way they communicate. The Puro ball is a traditional game originating from Michoacan, Mexico, with more than 3,000 years of history. It is played with L-shaped wooden sticks and a ball of approximately 15 centimeters. In some modern variants, the ball is lit on fire as a solar symbol. The objective is to take it to the opposite end of the court. The dimensions of the field can reach up to 120 meters long by 8 wide. Each team usually has 6 players. The rules and styles vary according to the community that preserves it. Here you can see surgical doctors practicing with origami. This method is known as paper folding and has great prominence in Japanese culture. In this country, many surgery students are subjected to very difficult tests related to precision, and this technique is among them. People who look like us but are not identical or fraternal twins are called doppelgangers. These similarities can be attributed to the coincidence in physical characteristics, such as facial structure or hair color, due to genetic variability within a population. Sometimes, these similarities can be surprising, but there is no direct genetic relationship between the people. In Yosemite National Park, California, a natural phenomenon known as the firefall or horsetail fall occurs. For a few weeks in February, the sunset illuminates the waterfall in such a way that it appears to be burning in flames, creating a spectacular view. Although it may sound contradictory, the inventor of cotton candy was a dentist named William Morrison from Nashville, who patented his machine to make cotton candy in 1899. The Zanabekov effect, also called the intermediate axis theorem, was observed by the Soviet cosmonaut Vladimir Zanabekov in the year 1985 during a space mission. This phenomenon occurs when a rigid object with 3 different moments of inertia rotates around its intermediate axis, causing an abrupt 180-degree inversion in its orientation. Although it seems periodic, its frequency depends on the initial conditions of the rotation. This sloth and its cub break the laws of physics by sleeping in this position, or maybe they are just falling very slowly. Soap is a molecule with double polarity. One part is polar and binds to water, while the other is nonpolar and adheres to fats and oils. This structure allows it to disperse substances that do not normally mix with water. For example, fat is nonpolar and does not dissolve in water, which is polar. Soap acts as an intermediary, enveloping the fat particles and allowing them to be removed with water. Meet Uni, an adorable Shiba Inu who lives in Japan and always has a smile on his face. This dog is an internet celebrity and has an Instagram account with several thousand followers thanks to his owner sharing videos and photographs in which he is smiling, spreading his tenderness to everyone he meets. He is something like a living meme. This is the most fabulous origami technique on the planet. It consists of creating a pattern making sure that there are no spaces and that the figures do not overlap. The result obtained from these folds is very cool. This technique used by artists from all over the world allows them to create amazing 3-dimensional designs that seem to come to life. This is a soccer field in the Heights in Chongqing. Here the problem would be who is going to go for the ball when it falls. The James Webb Space Telescope was launched on December 25th of the year 2021 from French Guiana. Its main mission is to observe the oldest events in the universe and the most distant objects, such as the first stars formed after the Big Bang. Thanks to its ability to detect infrared light, it can study regions hidden by cosmic dust. This telescope surpasses the Hubble in scope and sensitivity. It is located at Lagrange Point 2, 1.5 million kilometers from Earth. Its design allows it to capture weak signals from primitive galaxies. Humans do not descend from monkeys, but rather share a common ancestor. Between 5 and 8 million years ago, a species of primate that lived in Africa diversified into 2 lineages, one that gave rise to chimpanzees and the other that gave rise to humans. These 2 lineages evolved separately, developing different characteristics. Chimpanzees adapted to life in the trees, while humans adapted to life on the savanna. The Japanese influencer Toko has caused a great controversy by spending a little more than $14,000 to become a collie dog. The The strange man confessed that one of his biggest life longings has always been to become an animal, and it was the costume company Zeppet who made it a reality. Now, looking like a dog, he takes walks on the street but has decided to hide his identity because he does not want friends or coworkers to think he is strange. The construction of Istanbul Airport, inaugurated in the year 2018, was a large-scale project. Nearly 10 billion euros were invested and the use of an immense fleet of dump trucks was required. Thousands of these vehicles were used to move and level the earth, a crucial job for the infrastructure. At the inauguration, a parade of around 1,500 trucks symbolized the magnitude of the work. This airport, located on the European side of the city, was designed for a capacity of 150 million passengers annually. This long train circulates in the United States and belongs to the BNSF Railway Company. It is made up of 105 wagons, several of them double-decker for intermodal cargo. It is towed by 3 locomotives, a common configuration on extensive routes. The double-decker wagons allow containers to be stacked efficiently. The Oban Busway is a guided bus system located in Adelaide, Australia. It was inaugurated in the year 1986 as an alternative to railway transport. The buses run on an exclusive concrete track equipped with side rails that guide the vehicle. Unlike a tram or train, the vehicles can leave the track and operate on conventional streets. The system allows for the avoidance of urban congestion and the maintenance of constant speeds. The island called Little San Salvador, commercially known as Half Moon Cay, has belonged to the cruise line Holland America Line since 1996. It is located between Cat Island and Eleuthera in the Bahamas. The Bahamas is a country composed of around 700 main islands and more than 2,000 cays and reefs. Many of these formations are small and not all are inhabited. The Mosacofen group is located in Sakai, Osaka, Japan. They are funerary mounds built between the 3rd and 6th centuries after Christ. Originally, there were more than 100 structures, many in the shape of a keyhole. Today, less than half remain due to urban growth. These tombs were intended for the nobility and stand out for their size. Nudibranch are marine mollusks without a shell, known for their varied shapes and intense colors. There are more than 3,000 described species, many with bright patterns that warn predators. They live in tropical waters to temperate regions on rocky, coral, or sandy bottoms. Their diet includes sponges, anemones, and other invertebrates. Some incorporate toxins from their prey as a chemical defense. They have external gills and sensory structures called rhinophores. Their diversity makes them ecological indicators and frequent subjects of underwater photography. Rip currents are channels of water that pull out to sea and can appear to be calm areas on the beach. They are usually 5 to 30 meters wide and are responsible for numerous accidents. Many people try to swim directly to the shore, which causes exhaustion and the risk of drowning. The safest way to escape is to swim parallel to the coast until you are out of the channel. Once out, you can return to the beach without resistance. Masahiko Kimura is a renowned Japanese master of the art of bonsai, famous for his innovative and sculptural compositions. His work challenges traditional forms, especially with Shimpaku junipers. Bonsai consists of cultivating miniature trees or shrubs through techniques such as pruning, wiring, and transplanting. These practices control the growth and model the shape of the specimen. The goal is to evoke natural landscapes on a reduced scale. Kimura has influenced generations of artists for his audacious and technical approach. The old Rhinebeck Aerodrome is located in Red Hook, New York, and functions as a living museum dedicated to the history of aviation. Founded by Cole Palin in the mid-20th century, it houses more than 60 aircraft, including originals and replicas, that are presented in flight conditions. The exhibitions are held on grass runways and include models from the pioneer era, the First World War, and the golden age of aviation. During the weekends, between June and October, air shows are organized open to the public that recreate historical scenes with costumes and narrations. Arcadia is an artistic collective based in the United Kingdom, known for its immersive electronic music and kinetic sculpture show. Its most emblematic installation is the Spider, a 50-ton structure built with recycled military parts. The show takes place in 360 degrees, with fire, lights, and surround sound. Arcadia regularly participates in the Glastonbury Festival in England. The Museum of Psychopathological Art of Cienfuegos in Madrid exhibits works created by patients with psychiatric disorders. These pieces arise from therapeutic and expressive processes, reflecting deep emotions and personal visions. Art functions as a tool for communication and psychological relief. Many works reveal aspects of the human unconscious. Burj Al Babaz is a real estate development located near Madernu in northwestern Turkey. The project began in the year 2014 with the construction of more than 700 European-style castles. It was promoted by Serot Group and aimed at buyers from Gulf countries. Although several units were sold, the company declared bankruptcy in the year 2018. The economic crisis and the drop in oil prices affected the payment capacity of some clients. The complex was left incomplete, becoming a ghost town. The Coanda effect is a physical phenomenon that occurs when a stream of fluid, such as air or steam, adheres to a nearby surface instead of following a straight path. This behavior is due to the interaction between pressure, viscosity, and drag forces in the fluid's boundary layer. It was observed by the engineer Henri Coanda in the year 1910 during tests with aircraft. In the gardens of the Queen Archipelago, Cuba, guided dives are organized to swim among sharks in a protected environment. The encounters usually include the Caribbean reef shark, which reaches up to 3 meters long and rarely poses a danger if there is no food present. Silky sharks are also observed, known for their calm behavior and exceptional attacks by confusion. This marine sanctuary is one of the most conserved in the Caribbean. The South Korean company LG has developed flexible screens with OLED technology used in models such as the LG OLED Flex. OLED stands for Organic Light-Emitting Diode, a material that emits light when it receives electrical current. These screens are composed of electroluminescent films with organic components, that is, molecules that contain carbon and hydrogen bonds. Although these compounds are not biological, they do share chemical characteristics with those that form living organisms. The flexibility of the substrate allows the screen to be curved without losing functionality. This technology has been applied in televisions, mobile devices, and rollable prototypes. The Namakwa rain frog is a species native to southern Africa, present in sandy areas of Namibia and South Africa. It measures up to 46 millimeters and has fossorial habits, living underground most of the time. It only emerges after rains to feed on insects. Its body is rounded and it emits a high-pitched sound when it feels threatened. Its adaptation to the dry environment is remarkable. It is one of the most unique frogs on the continent. The external tank of the Space Shuttle Endeavour was filled with liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen to power the main engines during ascent. It detached a few seconds after the engines were shut down and re-entered the atmosphere. It was not reusable and disintegrated due to aerodynamic forces before reaching the ocean. Its length was approximately 47 meters. Unlike solid rocket boosters, it was not recovered after the flight. Its controlled destruction avoided risks in inhabited areas. When a flame is applied to compacted snow, it does not melt easily due to its high thermal capacity and the dispersion of heat. Instead of melting, it can sublimate, going directly from solid to vapor. Water does not burn since it is not flammable. The black that appears on the surface is not part of the snow, but residues of incomplete combustion of the flame. These residues include soot and other impurities that adhere to the ice. The quantum stealth is a material developed by the Canadian company Hyperstealth Biotechnology. It is designed to hide objects or people through optical manipulation. It is not a simple translucent sheet, but a compound that deflects light. The effect is achieved from certain angles, making the object seem to disappear. It can also block visible, infrared, and thermal spectra. The Faroe Islands are an autonomous archipelago of the Kingdom of Denmark, located between Iceland, Norway, and the United Kingdom. Of its 18 islands, 17 are inhabited. The Lofoten Islands in Norway have about 25,000 inhabitants and stand out for the fishing of Arctic cod and mountaineering. The island of Senja is the second largest in Norway, excluding the Svalbard archipelago. It is known for its rugged landscapes and for the folklore of the trolls. The San Andreas Fault extends along the state of California in the United States and measures about 1,280 kilometers. It is part of the boundary between the Pacific and North American plates. This geological system causes cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco to approach each other approximately 4 centimeters per year. Although it does not directly cross Baja California, it is tectonically connected to the movement that affects that region. The Baja California Peninsula is slowly moving northwest. Some calculations estimate that in about 50,000 years it could separate completely from the continent. In Luxor, Egypt, public openings of sarcophagi with mummies more than 3,000 years old have been carried out. Some could come from nearby necropolises like the Valley of the Queens. Necropolises are ancient cemeteries used for royal and noble burials. The Cave of Swallows is located in Aquismón, San Luis Potosí, Mexico. It is a karst sinkhole with more than 500 meters of depth. Its mouth measures about 60 meters in diameter and widens towards the bottom. Although its name suggests swallows, the birds that inhabit it are swifts. These birds enter and exit in spectacular vertical flights. Its conical shape makes it one of the most impressive natural abysses in the world. Colugo, also called dermopterans, are arboreal mammals of Southeast Asia. They live in countries such as the Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Cambodia, and Vietnam. They have a skin membrane that connects their limbs and tail, allowing them to glide between trees. Glides of up to 120 meters have been documented. They are nocturnal and strictly arboreal. This car looks like rubber due to the extreme vibrations caused by subwoofers and amplifiers installed inside. The visual effect occurs when the sound generates pressure waves that make the vehicle's panels shake. The visible movement does not come from the flexibility of the materials. It is an illusion caused by the force of the sound. The bioweaver is a species native to southern Asia, including India. These birds build retort-shaped hanging nests made with vegetable fibers. They locate them in tall trees, such as palms or thorns, and are usually close to water. This location helps protect the nests from terrestrial predators. The colonies can be dense and very visible during the breeding season. The Mori Building Digital Art Museum is located in Tokyo, Japan, on the island of Odaiba. It was inaugurated in June of 2018 by the artistic collective Team Lab. It is considered the first permanent museum dedicated exclusively to digital art. The works are interactive and generated by computerized systems. The American artist Michael Murphy is known for his perceptual sculptures that change according to the viewing angle. His works are usually suspended and reveal different images from different perspectives. In the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore is the Rain Oculus, a hydraulic installation designed by Moshe Safdie. This 20-meter diameter vortex channels rainwater to the lower levels of the complex. Its function is both aesthetic and practical, integrating art and sustainability. In Russia, a helicopter flies over a gray beach, possibly in the Black Sea region. It is common to see these aircraft in coastal areas. Pilots usually orient themselves using visual references such as coasts, roads, and geographical features. These practices are useful in tactical or low-altitude flights. The bira is a traditional musical instrument native to Zimbabwe, used by the Shona people for centuries. It belongs to the family of lamellophones and is composed of metal sheets mounted on a wooden resonance box. It is played with the thumbs and sometimes with the index fingers, producing vibrant and melodic sounds. The English artist Tim Lewis is known for his kinetic sculptures that combine mechanics and organic forms. In a 2012 exhibition, he presented a work with a robotic bird that resembles a kiwi, connected to a mechanical arm. Arc Nova is an inflatable concert hall designed by the Japanese architect Arita Isozaki along with the Indian artist Anish Kapoor. The structure was created as a cultural response to the earthquake and tsunami that affected Japan in the year 2011. It was installed in cities such as Matsushima and Fukushima between the years 2013 and 2017. The hall is made of flexible material and can be easily disassembled and transported. Its design allows it to host concerts and cultural activities in affected areas. This chess for 3 players is played on a hexagonal board with 96 squares. The pieces retain the movements of traditional chess, adapted to the design of the board. The game tends to get stuck because 2 players can block each other. To avoid this, some variants propose that the first to checkmate wins. This rule is not universal, but it seeks to maintain the dynamic. The Mendenhall Glacier ice caves are located in Alaska, United States, and are formed by seasonal melting within the glacier mass. Glaciers are permanent accumulations of ice originated by the compaction of snow over time. They currently cover about 10% of the planet's continental surface. It is estimated that they contain approximately 70% of the fresh water available on Earth. Most of the glacial volume is found in Antarctica, although Greenland has the second largest concentration. The Burj Khalifa is located in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, and reaches a height of 829.8 meters, including its spire. During routine inspections, technicians access the top-facing strong winds as the main challenge. These tasks require specialized equipment and extreme training. The building was inaugurated in the year 2010. To date, it remains the tallest in the world. The quadrupoint of the border between Botswana, Namibia, Zambia, and Zimbabwe are so close that they almost touch. Although there is no official monument that marks this crossing, it is a unique point in the world due to historical disputes over the exact delimitations. The place is more of a geographical concept than a tangible reality for tourists. Did you know that cacao is a fruit? Although we commonly associate cacao with beans or powder used to make chocolate, in its natural form, cacao comes as a hard-shelled fruit that contains seeds or beans inside. Cacao grows on trees that produce small white flowers that, when pollinated, give rise to large fruits called pods. These pods contain a sweet and juicy pulp, along with the cacao seeds that are the parts used to make chocolate. The actor and comedian Jack Black, along with the stunt genius Jackie Chan, worked together for 10 years on the Kung Fu Panda movie without ever meeting in person. Jack lent his English voice to the character Pa, while Jackie did the same with Monkey. However, throughout the work process, both recorded their voices separately. Sometime after the filming of the third installment was finished, someone contacted Jack to inform him that his idol wanted to meet him at a hotel in China. They finally met and saw each other for the first time. The word salary comes from the Latin salarium, which referred to the payment in salt that Roman soldiers received. Salt was a valuable resource in ancient times, essential for food preservation and other uses. This payment system reflects how essential goods, and not just precious metals, have served as currency throughout history. Studies have revealed that on Mondays people do not start smiling until 11:16 in the morning, and at work, performance is limited to between 3 and 5 hours of productive work. In addition, there is a 50% higher chance of being late to their workplace or school. On the other hand, people between 45 and 54 years old spend more than 12 minutes complaining every Monday with their coworkers. Zoom was founded in 2011 by Eric Yuan, former vice president of engineering at Cisco WebEx. The curious thing is that Yuan left Cisco because he felt that the existing video conferencing platform was complicated and unintuitive. He set out to create a service that was easy to use, and in 2013, he launched Zoom, which quickly gained popularity. However, its use skyrocketed during 2020, becoming an essential tool for remote work and distance education. At its peak, Zoom reached more than 300 million daily meeting participants. Would you change your name to Subway to get free sandwiches for life? Well, in August of 2023, this fast food chain announced a raffle in which the winner would receive free sandwiches for life in exchange for legally changing their name to Subway, and they would cover all the legal costs of the process. Although it seems incredible, almost 10,000 people participated and were willing to be called Subway. It was not known who the winner was, but it is most likely that now there is a person who is called Subway. This is a gigantic crop created in the shape of a famous Vincent van Gogh painting. It is a replica of the olive trees, a work that the author painted in 1889. It was made by Stan Hurd, an American landscape artist, at the request of the Minneapolis Institute of Arts. It covers about half a hectare of land in a field near Minneapolis, in the United States. It took more than 6 months of intense work of excavation, planting, painting, and they even looked for giant herbs to give it a better finish. Golpieri Beach is a true natural treasure located in the beautiful region of Asturias, Spain. What makes it truly unique in the world is its condition as an inland beach, which is extremely rare to find. This unique beach was formed thousands of years ago by the collapse of an underground marine cave, leaving a saltwater pool of approximately 50 meters in length. Although it is located about 100 meters inland, it is connected to the sea by a series of underground tunnels and cracks in the limestone rock. This allows the seawater to flow into the pool, thus creating a unique experience for visitors. For this reason, Coca-Cola tastes more delicious in a glass bottle or can than in a plastic container. Both glass and the can better seal the flavor, preventing alterations caused by oxygen and CO2. In addition, glass does not add strange flavors and cans keep the drink colder. On the other hand, plastic can allow small gases to escape and chemical compounds from the container to mix with the drink, slightly modifying its flavor. Apple was founded in 1976 by Steve Jobs, Stephen Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne. The company's first product, the Apple I, was designed and assembled by Wozniak in Jobs' garage. Originally, the Apple I did not have a case or keyboard. Users had to purchase those components separately. However, the most interesting thing is that Ronald Wayne, one of the co-founders, sold his 10% stake in Apple for only $800 just 12 days after the founding. If he had kept his stock, his stake would be worth billions of dollars today. Audi was founded in 1909 by August Horch in Germany. The name Audi comes from the Latin translation of Horch's last name, which means listen in German. The company began to produce luxury cars, and in 1932 it merged with 3 other companies to form the Auto Union conglomerate, which used the famous 4-ring logo that represented the United Brands. Audi has been a pioneer in automotive technology, introducing innovations such as four-wheel drive in 1980, which became a hallmark of its high-performance vehicles. Today, Audi is known for its elegant design and its focus on advanced technology and sustainability. According to tradition, it is said that if you observe a statue in a park where a person on horseback has two of its legs in the air, it is interpreted that that person died in combat. If, on the other hand, the horse has one of its front legs raised, it symbolizes that the person died from wounds received in battle. Finally, if the horse has all its legs on the ground, it is interpreted that the person died of natural causes. If you hear the word iPhone, the last thing you would probably think of is this. In 1998, a company called InfoGear combined a telephone with the internet and touchscreen hardware. They named it iPhone 9 years before Apple. In 2000, Cisco System acquired InfoGear, including the iPhone trademark. Apple and Cisco reached an agreement so that both companies could use the iPhone brand. The original creators of Superman sold all the rights to the character for just $130 in 1938. Ironically, the check they were paid with was sold for $160,000 to a collector in 2011. The ii is a nocturnal primate native to Madagascar that has the curiosity of having a specially adapted sixth middle finger that it uses to extract insect larvae from tree trunks. It is often considered one of the ugliest animals in the world. Meet the roseate spoonbill or Plotilia ajaja, an aquatic bird with a coloration similar to that of flamingos. Apparently, it also gets its pigmentation through its diet. This animal has a flat beak, which gives it its curious name of spoonbill. It usually measures between 71 and 86 centimeters long, with a wingspan of 120 to 133 centimeters. It feeds in shallow water, walks slowly while moving its head from side to side, and filters the mud with its beak. I present to you Eugene Bostic, an American man who built a fun train to take rescued dogs for a ride. His curious vehicle is actually a tractor that has several plastic barrels connected to it, which serve as cars for his pets. To make it more comfortable for the animals, he placed pillows in each barrel, and as you can see, the little dogs have a happy time riding on the little train. Meet PigeonBot, a robot made with pigeon feathers that can fly perfectly. It was designed by a group of researchers who sought to understand the flight mechanism of birds. To achieve this, they made a study of the movements of the feathers and joints of pigeons and then created a model capable of flying like a real one. With this project, its creators hope to inspire those who build future flying machines. The venom of the box jellyfish is one of the most painful in the world. The box jellyfish, native to the tropical waters of the Indo-Pacific Ocean, has an extremely painful venom that can cause intense pain and debilitating symptoms in humans. It is considered one of the most painful venoms in the world. A mountaineer found a wallet in the Andes Mountains. It fell from a plane that crashed in 1972 near the place. When he investigated, he realized that the owner was one of the 16 survivors of the accident. He returned it to him 32 years later. The artist Carl Johnson creates paper silhouettes of people's profiles when they are not looking. Without a doubt, he has an incredible skill with scissors. The M100 galaxy is so far from us, and the light takes so long to arrive that if there are advanced beings who live there and who can look with a super powerful telescope, they would see the time when the dinosaurs were becoming extinct. Basil emits a stronger aroma when touched. When basil is touched, it releases essential oils that give it its characteristic aroma. This phenomenon is known as volatilization, and that is why it is often recommended to gently crush basil leaves before using them in cooking to release their flavor and aroma. Flying squirrels cannot fly like a bird, but they are experts at gliding in the air. They have membranes between their legs that allow them to glide long distances between trees to escape from predators. In addition, when they feel threatened, they can make a surprise flight to get away quickly. This gliding ability also helps them search for food in different areas of a forest, which gives them an advantage over other species that live in the same habitat. Your kidneys filter 200 liters of blood a day. With this work, they purify the blood, generating up to 2 liters of waste and excess water that then turn into urine. Today, the pyramids look like this. It is really sad, because during their time of splendor they looked this way, coated with shiny blocks of polished limestone that reflected the light of the sun, giving them a brilliant and majestic appearance. This finish, along with architectural and decorative details that have now disappeared, showed the ingenuity and greatness of ancient civilizations. This is the highest artificial waterfall in the world. It is located in the Lubian Building in the city of Guiyang in China. Making it was a challenge because its height is no more and no less than 106 meters, and it needs 4 powerful pumps to push the water to the top. The building has to pay more than $100 per hour in electricity to keep it running, so it is not cheap at all. On this website, you can find out what your age is on the different planets of our solar system. You just need to enter your date of birth. This highlights how time is perceived differently on each planet depending on its orbit around the Sun. Arnold Schwarzenegger was the first civilian owner of an electric Hummer vehicle. He acquired the first one in the world, a red model that was inspired by the H1, but much larger. Currently under construction inside a mountain in Texas, the 10,000-year clock is an ambitious engineering project designed to measure time for a period of 10,000 years. Backed by figures like Jeff Bezos, this initiative seeks to inspire long-term reflection and foster a sense of responsibility in future generations. Have you ever seen a calculator like this? This is what these incredible mechanical calculators that were used around the 1950s were like. Just look at all the work they had to do to perform an operation. In The Wizard of Oz, the actor who played the Cowardly Lion, Bert Lahr, wore a suit made of real lion skin. This decision was made to avoid fabricating it from scratch. The suit, which weighed around 45 kilograms, was extremely uncomfortable, as its weight and thickness caused Lahr to sweat excessively. Years later, it was auctioned in New York for more than $3 million. Butterflies can taste their food through their legs, where they have taste receptors that help them identify nutrient-rich foods as they land on flowers. Pirates did not usually bury treasures as shown in the movies. This idea is more of a myth than a reality. Pirates preferred to spend or invest their loot as soon as they got it. Some stories about buried treasures, such as the case of the famous pirate William Kidd, are legends, but there is no solid evidence that this was a common practice among them. In addition, burying treasures was risky due to the possibility that they would be discovered or that the exact location would be forgotten. The oldest religion in the world is Hinduism, which began more than 4,000 years ago in the fascinating land of India. It is a rich mixture of traditions, practices, and beliefs centered on ancient texts such as the Vedas. Its focus on spirituality, meditation, and the cycle of life has deeply influenced other religions and continues to be a vital force in millions of lives today. The white rhinoceros is not white, it is gray. This majestic animal that can weigh up to 2,300 kilos is in danger of extinction due to poaching and habitat loss. The tree where Isaac Newton discovered gravity is still standing. It is located outside the house where he spent his childhood in the town of Grantham in England. These cages are used by National Geographic cameramen to closely and safely capture the movements and behaviors of bears. Watch how this mother and her 2 cubs put it to the test. Intelligent people have more zinc and copper in their hair. By studying the chemical composition of the hair of more than 2,000 people, scientists at the University of Paris discovered that the hair of intellectuals has a higher content of these elements. Japanese bathrooms have hangers for babies. These seats are designed to keep your baby safe and prevent them from escaping while you do your business. Mark Twain, the famous author of The Adventures of Tom Sawyer and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, was born the same year that Halley's Comet passed in 1835. Twain predicted that he would die when the comet returned and, indeed, he passed away in 1910, the day after the comet passed again. Oil does not come entirely from dinosaurs. In reality, it is composed of the fossil remains of microbes and other plants and animals that lived millions of years ago, even before the dinosaurs. This belief spread because one of the first oil companies used a dinosaur as its mascot. This is a peculiar machine that automatically folds and shoots paper airplanes. Thanks to its mechanism, a sheet can be inserted through the rear end so that several rollers and 3D printed parts make the necessary folds to form the little planes, which when they reach the other end of the machines are shot. All this happens in just seconds. Red Bull was founded in 1984 by Dietrich Mateschitz and the Thai Chaleo Yuvitia. The interesting thing is that the energy drink was inspired by a Thai drink called Krating Dang, which means Red Bull. Mateschitz came across the drink during a trip to Thailand and decided to adapt it for the Western market. Unlike traditional marketing strategies, Red Bull focused on extreme events and adventure sports, becoming a symbol of an active and bold lifestyle. Today, Red Bull is one of the most recognized brands worldwide in the energy drink sector. Calendars arose from the need to organize time and predict astronomical, agricultural, and social events. The ancients observed the movement of the sun, moon, and stars to create systems of time measurement. Civilizations such as the Egyptian, the Mesopotamian, and the Chinese developed the first calendars based on natural cycles. Over time, They were refined and various systems were adopted in cultures around the world. Kit and Pau Creations makes earrings inspired by food. Look at these churros, pork rinds, and pizza. This is how the most expensive bird feathers in the world, which are only found in Iceland, are harvested, those of the eider duck. It should be noted that when there are eggs, only a part of the feathers is taken, and when the eider has already left the nest, the rest is recovered. During the cold winter months in polar and subpolar regions, the so-called light pillars can be observed. These optical phenomena are created by the reflection of light on millions of tiny ice crystals that are suspended in the atmosphere, usually in very cold and calm weather conditions. This is how nails are oriented before being packaged. Since the head has more metal, it sticks to the magnet. In this way, they are packaged in the same direction. The Suriname toad, a species of amphibian, carries its young on its back from birth until they are fully developed. It is the only known amphibian that shows this type of paternal care. The damage caused to the city of Manhattan in the Avengers movie amounts to $160 billion. This is more than the damage caused by Hurricane Katrina, the events of September 11th, and the 2011 tsunami in Japan combined. The town of Hum in Croatia is considered the smallest in the world, with a population that ranges between 17 and 23 inhabitants. It measures less than 100 meters long by 40 meters wide. The fascinating theory of panspermia suggests that life on Earth may have been seeded by microorganisms transported from outer space by comets, asteroids, or meteorites. This theory raises intriguing questions about the origin of life and the possibility of life on other planets. Observe how this ingenious squid uses its tiny tentacles to bury itself in the sand. It is truly an expert in the art of camouflage. Enzo Ferrari worked as a driver and sports director for the Alfa Romeo brand. He then decided to separate and founded his own company, Auto Avio Costruzioni, which would later become Ferrari. For many, many years it has been believed that the appendix has little purpose within the body. However, recent studies have shown that it plays an important role in the human body's immune system, protecting against possible threats. In addition, the appendix acts as a kind of reservoir of beneficial bacteria for the intestine, which is especially useful after an illness or after undergoing antibiotic therapy. In Spain, there is a place called the Route of the Faces that is 4 kilometers from Buendia in Cuenca. There you will find about 20 sculptures and bas-reliefs of 1 to 6 meters in height, sculpted by Eulogio Reguillo and Jorge Maldonado between the years 1992 and 2007. Access is free and the route takes approximately 1 hour of walking because the path is almost completely flat. Around the world, hotels discard millions of soaps that are unused or have barely been used. Fortunately, most of these soaps are recycled. They are cleaned and the surface layers of each bar are removed. Finally, these soaps are donated to homeless people and to disadvantaged communities around the planet. The famous singer and songwriter Enya resides in a charming Irish castle that she acquired in the 90s. This magical place has 6 renovated and modernized rooms, including advanced security systems. A whole combination of old-world charm and modern comforts. In 2007, the actor Nicolas Cage beat Leonardo DiCaprio in an auction. The item in question was an authentic dinosaur skull, and the winning bid was $276,000. However, in 2015, the government of Mongolia demanded that it be returned as it had been sold without permission. So, despite his purchase, Cage had to return the skull to Mongolia, a drama worthy of Hollywood. These dragon eggs are creations of the Australian artist Ben Works. They are created with wood and resin, and as you can see, each egg is special because they even have small trees, flowers, and other elements inside the resin, which makes them seem to have their own ecosystem. Meet the Impression Lusangia. It is a nightly music show performed in the waters of the Li River in China. For this reason, it is the largest natural auditorium that exists. It was created in 2004 by the Chinese film director Zhang Yimou. The show is divided into 7 scenes along 70 minutes, and the more than 600 actors who participate in the show are inhabitants of the native minority of the area. Since 2011, a law has been established in China that prohibits all content related to time travel or elusive propaganda about it, as well as alternative realities in television series and movies. This is because it is considered a bad influence on the public and goes against Chinese heritage by showing invented stories or absurd myths. In 2019, the European Central Bank stopped issuing 500 euro banknotes due to their frequent use in illicit activities. This banknote was difficult to track and allowed large sums of money to be transported in a compact format. However, it is still legal tender and still circulates in some European countries. It is impossible to sneeze with your eyes open. You can try it 1,000 times, but you won't be able to. The brain sends a signal to the eyelids to close automatically when sneezing. This prevents the eyes from coming into contact with the microorganisms that are expelled. However, some people can sneeze with their eyes open due to a failure in their nervous system. The first goal scorer in history was Kenyon Davenport, a player for the Bolton Wanderers. His goal occurred on a Saturday, September 8, 1888, playing against Derby County. As a right back, everyone in Bolton knew exactly who Kenyon Davenport was, a working-class boy who was happy playing soccer for a living and also representing his country. His feat marked a milestone in the sport, being the first goal in the era of professional soccer and setting a significant precedent in its evolution. The most visited city in the world is Bangkok, in Thailand. At least 22 million visitors arrive annually at this paradisiacal destination that for 4 consecutive years has received more people than cities like London, New York, and Paris, with attractions like the Dam Non Seduak floating market or the Wat Pho Buddhist temple. If you ever visit Disneyland, you will realize that there is something strange in the photos of Walt Disney. His hand always has the same position. This is because most of the time he was carrying a cigarette, which was edited along with the smoke so as not to set a bad example for children. The most expensive bottle of wine in the world was never drunk. The owner of this wine, Chateau Margaux of 1707, took it to a restaurant to consume it. The problem was that the bottle slipped from his hands when he wanted to show it to a guest, and it broke. The insurance payment was $225,000. The elevators in the New World Trade Center in New York show an interactive video in which we can see the history and growth of the city from 500 years ago. These sandals from the Reef brand are an innovative and practical option for your summer days. With a bottle opener incorporated into the design, they offer you comfort and functionality in every step. This is the Roto Farm, a curious circular garden that works in a kitchen. It was developed by NASA. It allows for the planting of up to 10 different types of vegetables and greens without soil and with only 5% of the water that a conventional garden requires. Its circular shape makes the plants grow twice as fast because it simulates a lower gravity through a rotation process. In addition, it takes up 3 times less space since it only measures 60 centimeters in diameter by 72 in height. Similar to equestrian jumping, in Sweden, cannon hopping is practiced, a jumping competition but for rabbits. The rabbit that completes the circuit in the shortest time or with the fewest errors wins. This is a small island that forms in the Tonga archipelago every so often due to the activity of an underwater volcano. It last emerged in the year 2019 after 18 days of eruption. It measured about 100 meters wide and 400 meters long. Did you know that there is a mountain in China that has 5 colors? It is called Rainbow Mountain and owes its appearance to the erosion and minerals present in its rocks. Watch how the size of the figures changes as they move. This is how this optical illusion tricks the brain. The largest banana in the world belongs to the Musa ingen species, which grows in Papua New Guinea and Indonesia. These bananas can reach up to 30 centimeters in length. Their weight can be up to 3 kilograms, being considerably larger than a common banana. The phobia of being without a cell phone is called nomophobia, and is a psychological disorder characterized by an irrational fear of not having a mobile phone or not having access to the internet. Nomophobia can generate mental stress, anxiety, depression, isolation, headache, tremors, sweating, or palpitations. This phobia has increased in recent years due to the easier acquisition of smartphones and the rise of social media. The color of the egg yolk depends on the chicken's diet. If it consumes corn or alfalfa, the yolk will be orange. If it eats wheat or barley, it will have a paler yellow tone. Some can even lay eggs with greenish yolks if they eat a lot of medicinal herbs. In Peru, there is a juice made from frogs. It is a smoothie originating from indigenous communities, but it has spread to the rest of the population due to alleged health benefits. Its preparation is very controversial, as it affects the local frog population, and believe it or not, some of the frog species used are endangered. Observe the design of the Canadian passport. When white light is projected onto it, there is nothing special, but under ultraviolet light we can see colorful drawings glowing on it. These are Canadian symbols, such as maple leaves and Niagara Falls. The coolest thing is that this design is not simply artistic, because in addition to the aesthetic contribution, it serves to protect the document from counterfeiters. People who have different colored eyes have a condition called iris heterochromia. This occurs for very diverse reasons, among which are some diseases. That is why, even in cases where the person was born with this, it is recommended that they visit an ophthalmologist to rule out that it originated from some ailment. Some birds take ant baths. They perch on the anthills of European red ants, which, as a defense mechanism, secrete formic acid, a natural insecticide. This behavior has been observed in more than 250 bird species. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Subscribe so you don't miss more interesting content. Leave your comments and click on any of these videos. See you next time.